Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. We are going to work more on our game today. First, as always, let's see what the progress was. So yesterday, I almost finished up saving and loading the texture mapping. So this texture editor is almost finished. What it does is I'm basically defining how voxels are composed in terms of textures. I can define the texture source for each of the faces of a voxel by selecting it or adjusting it and then assigning it to one of the faces of a voxel. And then when hitting face, I'm specifying an output file, and this editor will then compose the input areas of the original image into a new image that is packed together, like here. So these are the three regions I selected, and the texture packer packed them together into a single texture. And it also writes into a JSON file, which I don't specify yet, which I should also do. So this is let me do that first, actually. So we're gonna save into it. We're gonna take the path to the JSON file ourselves instead of saving to a test file, which I have done before. So here I was let's change this to be let's make this a little bit differently. So I should probably get the file name first before I do any of the saving. So we will be doing this first. Yeah, this is the output file name. I should put this into separate function. This is a little bit too big to be in a branch. Okay, let's get the editor and pull this out. Okay, this is where the JSON is output. Then here we would do texture file name. Okay. if you're getting a save file name, and then I want to let's have this also be in the temporary memory block. So I need two file names, one for the texture, one for the JSON. Right, this would be the texture file name, and then the JSON file name is pretty much the same with JSON at the end. Yeah, that's the idea. And then down here we would just output to the JSON file name. Hi, Sayan19. What song is that? It sounds familiar. This is file name buffer. Not much. Trying to make a game. Still some editor code that needs to be finished. Oh, this is supposed to be app. Okay, let's try this out. Okay, now if I hit save and then say test out, save. Yes, these are the three texture regions that I specified, and we also outputted the JSON. Let me check that the output is correct. Yeah, it looks correct. Okay, let's delete these. Yeah, I'm making it in C++ because I'm interested in learning how to make games. I want to learn how games are made, not just make a game. That's a better way to phrase it. So that's why I'm not using C# and Unity. Okay, this is looking nice. Currently I don't have a way to distinguish faces that I already set and faces that are null. So in the JSON, when I actually, oh, I deleted it, didn't I? Let's save again. Yeah, the right top and bottom faces are null currently. I should make it so that that is visible in the editor, since well, in this case, if I have just a couple of animations, so this is a single animation, these are the frames, it's very easy to get lost in what I already defined and what I didn't. So I guess, where do I do this box? Not here. Here it is. Texture map items, I called it. Where is that? Texture map, there it is. Okay. Okay, then when assigning, when pressing the assign button, I should change the string. So the initial names should be, let's put a star behind, so I know that these are still I didn't set them to anything, and then when I assign, I can switch the name to assigned. Which means I need the strings in an array. That's gonna look pretty much the same way. Where is it? Strings, voxel face strings. That's it. Actually, let's use these. So this is an array of const chars. So it's just the names without the star at the back. And then we will reassign the name. so I know that I set it. So texture map items I dot text becomes assigned names dot I. Since I'm looping over each face, same thing here. Okay, now I know that these are not assigned to anything yet. And if I hit assign, the star disappears. Okay, great. One other thing that I should do is when I'm selecting an entry, it should show me its current texture region that is assigned to it. So the return type of this function is it's whatever was last selected. Let's call the selected. So if selected is a valid value, we get the selected face. And we then know it's the region ID. I guess I can just get the region ID directly. Then we ask to get the region. So this takes the editor and the region ID. And then we can set the selected region of the texture selector to whatever it is that we selected. So if the region ID, if the region exists, so I can write it like this. So I need the texture display. This is editor texture display. We set the selected index. Selected index being don't know how to find that out yet, but I can set the selected region. It's just a float version of the region rectangle. Yeah, this is an integer based rectangle. I need the float based one for the editor. The selected index, that is the index of the source, if I'm not mistaken. Where did I set this? Oh, it's it's the texture regions index. I don't keep track of that, and in this case I don't need to set it because I the only important part here is that this isn't -1, since that would mean it's unspecified. I'm specifying it. I'm specifying the region directly, so this just needs to be not -1. So let's see if this worked. So I'm assigning, and yes. When clicking on unassigned things, nothing changes, but when clicking on assigned entries, it shows me what I assigned it with. And I can overwrite the assignment like that. Okay, I think it's time now to actually work on the voxel asset. I can specify the mappings that I wanted. Okay, so this is my source for now. Let's do this. So first of all, the idle animation. It's these 4 textures. So the first frame, second frame is this one. So the left, right, top, and bottom, that's gonna take a different texture source, so I'm not setting them yet. So that's the idle animation, and then the idle shooting animation, that's just a single frame, this one. The turning animation, also just a single frame. The walking animation is these 4. This is these are jumping animations. So this is when rising. I guess I'm gonna call it jump fallings, as opposed to I may add a falling animation later that is just for falling without jumping or something like that. And then there's the wall slide. And then the shooting versions of those animations. Then the wall slide shoot. Okay, I think I'm missing animations here actually. Didn't I compose all of them here? Let me check. I think I'm missing something. What did I call it? Yeah, this animation is missing. The landing animation. So these two frames are missing. Okay, let's save this one. Let's add a second source here. So 2 frames. Okay, these are almost, this is almost everything. I'm missing the some of the faces. So I only set the front and back faces of the voxels, but not the left, right, top and bottom. But since the hero has a black outline, those are basically just a solid black texture. So if I activate bulk mode, I can set all frames at once. Sign. Let's try to save this. Hi Festec. Let's see, what did we generate? Hero JSON is here. There's a picture, the sprite sheet. Alright, something went wrong. If file name length. Oh, I'm not using that anymore. So I basically skipped writing the image file here. Also, I should be doing this. Okay, luckily all this work didn't go to waste because I have hot loading of my game code. Except it now crashed because I have hot loading. Can I just ignore this and then save? No, it won't let me. Maybe if I point this at something that is valid. Nope, I have to break out. That's unfortunate. Now I have to redo everything. I should have checked that my changes are actually working. Okay, let's make actually sure that they are that it's working this time. Save. Okay, we are now outputting the PNG and the JSON. Yeah, I'm compiling to 64 bits when working on the code. That's why they are 60-bit long addresses. Okay. Shift plus delete. What does that do? No, it still asks me. Is it supposed to not ask me if I do shift plus delete? Or do you mean here? Oops. That deleted the whole line. Okay, I have to redo the mapping. Oh, removes the file from disk. That's good to know. Thank you. Alright, let's redo everything. Idle shoot has one single frame. Turn animation. For walk frames. Jump rising. Jump falling. Wall slide. Right, and then walk shooting. And the wall slide while shooting. The landing frames. I'm gonna set the outline first. So I don't accidentally overwrite any of the animation frames. Right, assign. They're all assigned now. That's good. And now actually setting up the frames. So the second frame. So walk animation. Oops, I forgot one. The fact that I did this region detection code actually speeds up setting this up a lot. Wall slide. Oh, I forgot to add a frame here. Landing frames. Okay, let's see. Everything seems to be set. Right, looking good. Let's save. Oh no. Those aren't all my textures. Unique rects 4. Well, it's not wrong in this regard, so I have a bug in my code. Which means I have to redo everything yet again. Well, the JSON is probably correct. Maybe. No. Why did it think... Does it accidentally think I had bulk mode on? Why isn't this increasing? Right, this fails. So if I do a sign, Now it's working again. Hmm. I somehow have to reproduce that not heading. I think I haven't selected this one yet. Let's do this. Alright, I'm gonna break on assigning. Oh, that's a problem. The problem is I totally forgot. So to assign texture regions, I'm selecting entries in a list box. And then I'm selecting the texture region, I'm pressing assign. And this adds a new texture region to a list somewhere. And then I select a new animation and then I set assign to this list box entry the new texture region. But if I now press assign, this unique recs will not increase. And that's because this list box entry is still selected, so I'm overwriting the previously set texture region. And I'm redoing this for each frame. And that's why at the end there were only 4 unique texture regions. Since I forgot to deselect the list boxes. That's an unfortunate bug. So how am I gonna fix that? So I could make it so that I'm not gonna assign texture regions if it's not expanded. So if the list box isn't expanded, if I fold it up, I'm not gonna set texture regions anymore. there are two levels of expansions. It's the top level animation itself, and then here for each frame. Each frame itself can also be folded up. A frame being one of these, and these can also be unfolded. Okay, that fixes that bug. So this time I'm gonna keep an eye out on the unique rects. Okay, this time the unique rectangles texture regions are increasing. Walk, and this is jump, rising, shoot. Oh, this is wrong. Wall slide, shoot. the landing frames. And then the outline, finally. 22 unique regs, it's okay. Bulk mode. So pressing assign now shouldn't add a new unique rect. It did. Did I do something wrong? Let's save. Let's make sure that everything is in here. These are the landing frames, the walk frames, jump frame, wall slide, idle, yeah, this is looking correct now. I think the outline texture was a little bit bigger than necessary. But then that's okay. Okay, we have the texture mapping for the hero. Now I need to implement loading texture mapping for the voxel editor. So I can use the texture mapping by clicking the button here. So this part isn't implemented yet. So this function is supposed to do that. If you have a bunch of frames, a single texture, a bunch of frames, and a bunch of animations. So that's the idea here with this structure. To read JSON files, I'm using this library that I wrote, which is called just tmjson. Read file to buffer takes a string view, and then a buffer and buffer size. And then it returns the size that we read. Okay, this makes sense. So JSON make document takes an allocator, the data, and then flags. Flags being how I wanted to parse the JSON, so I can have strict means I'm not allowing JSON files that have things in them that normal JSON files don't have. Like I could enable single line comments or and such, but I don't need them since these JSONs are generated by my editor. Okay, I'm making this document. I don't like having output parameters. I prefer returning the structures in the return type. But then again, if I want to return a bool and the structure, I could write something like this. Something like this, and then return this. But this means I have an additional copy if I want to store the result here. So let's do it like this then, even though I don't like that. Okay, the JSON file looks like this. So we are trying to load this thing. Oh, I didn't set the texture here. Why is this empty? This thing, texture, file name length. It's supposed to output this. Alright, good to know. So this is a good thing that you're using JSON currently, since I can debug this easier. And this JSON on the left, these aren't set properly. Is this the right JSON? Yes. So there's another bug in my editor code. So I tried to set these using bulk mode. Must have been something regarding this. Oh, this is why. I'm asking if the frame is expanded, even though I'm trying to set them in bulk. Yeah, that's a problem there. But that's fine. I can actually fix these easily. I just have to implement loading in the texture pack editor too. Currently, I do have a load button, if I remember. Yeah, there it is. But it doesn't do anything yet. So I guess before we switch over to the voxel editor, let me comment this out. Why doesn't this work? String can be converted into string view, and it's okay. So that's unfortunate. Okay. Let's write the loading code here. So this time it's get open file name, and we only want to load JSON files. There needs to be star here. Okay. Gonna create a temporary memory block again. This will deallocate each allocation inside this block at the end of the scope. And we want to load the JSON. So we're using the allocator. Mm. So we need an allocator for the JSON document. Okay, we didn't read the JSON file. Read buffer, file to buffer, file being the file name. The file name, and then the destination buffer. So if this is 0, we know we failed to read to the buffer. This is almost correct. Flags being we want to read the JSON in strict mode, so no bugs allowed. Okay, if we got this far, it means we can clear the state, the current state of the editor. So clearing would mean we clear this. The texture regions would clear the texture maps. So I guess we can also reset these values. Okay. Let's look at the JSON again. Actually, instead, we also have these texture sources that I need to clear, right? So these need to be cleaned up. I can't just clear the list box, because they have textures in them that need to be deleted. But once I do that, I can clear. Yeah, like this. So let's load the texture. I should actually get this escape. Oh no, it's already escape what I'm talking about. Yeah, we get the string. Do I have to set anything else here? The width and height, yeah. Width is... I need to get the texture info first. Also, I should check the return value here. So we set the width and height. Regions. Let's do it like this actually. So I'm gonna pull this out from here. And do texture pack, add texture source. So it looks like this now. This is looking reasonable now. And this one I can also call in the load function now. So instead of doing this, I can just do this. Alright. So we loaded the texture. And then we're gonna load each individual animation and its frames. I have too many open files. Okay. So I'm basically interested in initializing this, and while I'm initializing this, I can also fill in the unique texture regions. So to be able to do that, I need to factor this part of the code out into a function. I just realized I'm not saving the orientation to the JSON. Oh, the orientation is implicit. Since I'm only saving the texture coordinates, but when loading I want to retrieve the orientation from the texture coordinates. How to do that? I guess I could just compare the first entry to the second entry. If it's on the horizontal line, it means if it's on a horizontal line, it means it is not rotated. If it's on a vertical line, it's rotated by either clockwise 90 degrees or anti-clockwise, although I don't know which one. Ah. So I guess we will be outputting more information than needed, just so we can load it back in the editor, and the game will only read out the information that it needs, but the JSON file will contain more than that. I'm gonna save the orientation. Okay, I guess that's enough. When loading, and I forgot to refactor the unique texture regions part out. There it is. So basically, I want a function that's called get add texture pack add unique rect, or add unique texture region. It's gonna take the app data and the texture region in question. It's gonna do this, then return the texture region, and in here I'm just gonna do exactly like this. So this is compile, not quite. Too few arguments to call. What is get open file name? Filter, initial direction, directory, multi-select, false. What's the problem here? Pointer size t. Ah, size t, that's why. Okay. Now that lambda that I wrote previously, we're gonna make a function out of that. Texture tag add unique, this one. So I can call it when loading. So it's gonna return a texture region. You're compiling, that's good. Then we go over to the loading, and we can do this as we go along. So we get an array first. So each entry in this array is an object. We have to call getObject. Then we can get the name. Okay. So we need to fill in these. This has an internal storage, so we can call copy to string. We get the string and we copy in here. This takes the buffer first. Okay, sorry. Actually, my string viewer also has a copy. It just calls copy, okay. I should be more consistent with how I'm laying out these parameters. So here the input is first and the output is second, and when I the copy to string methods, there the output is first and the input is second. So let's restructure them. Normally I have the output last. That 4 is defined like this. So C++17 had, is supposed to have this C++17 is supposed to have this syntax where you don't have to type auto. Yeah, it's a macro, so I don't have to type auto. Also, it has the forwarding. It does use forwarding auto. It's not just auto. This way, you can't make the mistake of writing this accidentally, where you're copying each entry accidentally when iterating. So not writing auto actually makes it less error prone. It wasn't accepted. Oh, that might be. I think that's because this would be the only place where you can leave out auto, and C++ doesn't have it. Doesn't have that yet anywhere. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna make it in at some point. And I'm actually for this syntax. It does actually make sense to use it. That's why I have it in here. Okay. Where was I? I should probably rename my copy to string then. Since my string view uses just copy instead of copy to string. So these are now just copy. Okay, good. Okay, this copy function is now again the other way around, where the destination is first and the input is second. This is a wrapper around memcopy. Okay, so let's keep copy to string actually. And instead let's rename the copy in here to also be copied to string. So now just copy means it's a wrapper around memcopy, so it has the same semantics as memcopy, but copy to string is special. So we're trying to initialize these, reading out these from the JSON. Let's zero initialize first. So where's the JSON again? So this object has a field named name and a field named array frames, which is an array. That is this part. And then I can get the size of the array. So here I hard-coded the maximum amount of frames, which is 10, but somehow the JSON might have more, so I'm gonna call min here. Actually, I can do it here. So, and then let's use count of. So this will either return the frames count of the array or 10. And then we're gonna loop. Am I gonna loop? Yeah, I'm gonna loop. So each frame itself is an object. And each object has 6 faces. One entry for each voxel face. Let's get the rect first. This rectangle. voxel face strings I. Wait, this isn't correct. We need to loop over each face of the voxel. And then we can set the faces. So J is actually the index of the face. We then get the object here. It's actually an array. Wait, these are texture coordinates and I need a rectangle. So I can't actually do this. I actually need to change how I'm saving this JSON file. I need to also save the rect instead of just the texture coordinates. Okay, so let's turn this into an object then. So we save the texture coordinates, then we write the orientation. And then we write the rect itself. Right value. I'm gonna create an overload for rectangles. Okay, this should compile. It does. Yeah, this makes sense. So now when loading, I'm gonna regenerate a new JSON file so I don't get confused with the old version. Sign, save, test JSON. There it is. Oh, why isn't this? Why aren't there quotation marks anymore? Why? It's because, again, because of this template. I was expecting the string to use the constructor of the string view, but because there's a templated version, it picks this one, and this one doesn't output quotation marks. Didn't work. Save, test. It didn't work. Why not? Where am I outputting the texture? Here. Let's break here. So it does use this overload, as I expected. It does create a string view, and then it goes in here. Why isn't it using this one? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, I'm an idiot, that's why. If I wrote this here, it would work. So that's because this function wasn't visible if the way I wrote it before. Because C++ is it initializes symbol names from top to bottom or something like that. Okay, let's check again. Yeah, now it's the right version. Yeah, they are quotation marks now. So texture coordinates, orientation, and direct. Got actually, I want these entries to be in a single line like this. So I need to set the minimal mode to true, and then I'm gonna set it to the previous value again. Yeah, now they're in a single line. Okay, then loading. Let's enable this again. So we're looping over each face. We're getting the corresponding face frame. Face, I mean, which is now an object since I just changed it. And we want to read out the rect. So this is actually the face. The rect object is this guy. I actually need this to return the texture ID instead of true and false. So it's gonna return this one. And then here I can go and say texture, and then if not texture, since I need to pass the texture here as an argument. I pass in the texture region. Let's go to the JSON again. And then I can initialize the frame like this. The frames are these things. They have a region ID and then an orientation. The orientation is just this value, and then I need to cast it into the enum. So I could clamp this to make sure that it's within the enum range. So clamp it to 0 to 5 so we can't get invalid values here. Yeah, I'm gonna clamp it, makes sense. And I think I'm actually done loading once I do this. Texture pack frame, faces, J. Oh, I already have a test frame. Test frame faces and then test frame orientation. This is actually no, it needs to be like this. Okay, it did compile. Let's try loading. Nothing happens. Oh, I'm not actually calling the load function, I think. Yeah. Texture pack load. This is empty. But other than that, Rex2, this is wrong. Definitely wrong. And these don't have names. But the right thing is initialized. Only the left face is initialized. The front face, I mean. The other faces are null, and that actually worked. And it also loaded the texture source correctly. So the unique rects part didn't work. Let's see what the problem is. So there's only one entry, size is 1. Oh, okay, that's why. find it interesting when people use open standards and libraries and then decide to couple heavily to the Windows APIs. I'm not coupling heavily to the Windows APIs. I'm currently using the Windows APIs in the Windows layer. The game code is decoupled from the platform, so this is completely platform independent, and the platform dependent code lives in the platform layer. Okay, I actually, before I do this, I need to check that this exists. So if I do this, I shouldn't have the problem there. Yeah, unique rex is no one. Okay, I need to initialize these list box correctly, and then I'm done loading. Yeah, the project layout is pretty much, I did it the same way Handmade Hero does it. So I have a platform layer, so this is all the platform dependent stuff. And then I have platform services, which are just callbacks into the platform layer. That's how I was able to get the open file name dialog to open. But that I'm only using in the editor, so the game itself won't ever have a need to open a get file name dialog. And the other callbacks are just basic saving and loading, which all platforms have. So yeah, the game itself doesn't even do allocation. All the allocations are get passed in from the platform layer, and after that I'm not doing any allocations. So these are memory arenas I'm using to allocate. For the list box names, how did I do that previously? Let me see. Front. Okay, I did it like this. This is actually a problem because I am storing let me think about this. Yeah, this can crash the program if I hotload. Let me try it actually out. So if I recompile here, my program might crash. This time it didn't. Why isn't it crashing? There it is. Now it's reading bogus memory because these strings live in the DLL, and when I'm doing hot loading, I'm switching out the DLL for a different one. So these string pointers point to something that I just released. So the memory is actually invalid. I can't actually store pointers to static memory. So we are gonna have a string pool here. Let's make this static and the global so I can reuse this, since I need this in the loading code also. So this should make a... Oh, okay, so I can't do that. I'm a dummy sometimes. This was the whole point.
I'm charging you. I don't know.
I need to initialize this.
Me too.
Okay, these need to be null terminated. No, they don't. Okay. I just need to make these into string views.
My ultis are so bad. Fuck with two ultimates.
Okay, I think I finally have it. I do this. Left, back, right, top, oops. Okay, that's one part of it. And the next part is these ones. So I need these names without a star at the end. Which is if I do this, this should be back. Yeah. Okay, let me make sure that the problem is gone now. So if I change something here and then recompile, actually let me recompile by actually changing something. Yeah, these pointers now don't get mangled up. Now I only have to assign them correctly. When loading, that is.
No, really not.
So where does this come into play actually? So I need to set these bulk mode items and then I need to set these items for each frame. So the bulk mode items, I can do that here. And then for each frame, we also do something similar. And then here I can do the pop front thing again. Pop back, I mean. Which means that entry was assigned a value. Let me try it out. Right. The only entry that doesn't have a star is the front, and the front is actually the only one that has a texture region assigned to it. Although it seems like all of them have something assigned to it. Oh no, that's actually the correct behavior. So only when clicking on the front does the texture region get reset. So okay, loading does work. So now finally I can redo the texture mapping for the hero, so we can load it in the voxel editor in here. So let's actually do the mapping now. So the idle animation has 4 frames. This is a couple too many. Okay, that's the idle animation. Then the idle shoot. Walk cycle, also 4 frames. Shooting animations. two landing frames. And then the outline, which are all the other faces. Actually, let's make these smaller. What's the biggest? This is 24. Is there a bigger one? 23. Let's say 24. Bulk mode. So left, right. Actually, just the left and right are gonna have this outline. Sign. And then the top and bottom are gonna have the same but rotated. So it's actually vertical. Horizontal, I mean. Is that gonna work though? Yeah, it should, yeah. Um, right. Sign, save, hero. Let's check. Yeah, the outline is just a single one. That's what I wanted. What I hope for, and indeed it's true. Let's make sure that all the frames are in here. Yeah, it seems like it. Let's check the JSON. Oh, these are still not set. Why are they now? Hmm. Why are these now? Let me check. No, they are set. So why is the JSON saying no there? Okay, let's check why it's doing that. So in this case it didn't do it.
Baby needs sleep.
So top left, it was null before. Let's see. And this time it does output it. Did I just not recompile? Is this the right JSON? Oh, it was the wrong JSON, that's why. Okay, there it is. So these are all correct, it seems. Yeah, these are the outline. They are just 1 pixel wide. That is correct then.
I see on the payload.
Yeah, seems like this time we're doing the correct thing. So this needs to be a relative path. That's a to do for. Yeah, I have a to do here. I should fix that at some point.
Oh, that's changed.
Let's try to load this in again, and this one fails. Oh, when clearing I didn't clear the last selected, so that's why. Clear, oops, clear. Editor texture sources, okay. Texture sources, last selected. Is there something else like that somewhere? No? Okay. Let's try that again. Load, hero. Not quite. Why are these all zero based? Oh, they are really zero based. Save. Texture region rect. Oh, it's supposed to be district. Okay, unfortunate bug. Which means I have to redo the texture mapping again. Or I could just edit the JSON. So left is 0, this is 46, right is 14, bottom is 70. And then I could do this. Oh, that's gonna take longer than redoing it in the editor though. Okay, So I think I am, with that bug fix, I am actually finished with the texture packing editor. So finally, I think tomorrow I can work on the voxel editor again, and um, we're gonna do the hero animations in the voxel editor. So we have meshes for the hero in 3D. So voxel meshes using the texture mapping that we generated, and then I'm gonna update the game code to use the new hero animations, and then the game is gonna get a graphical overhaul, so it doesn't look like a crappy prototype anymore. So it's gonna actually look like a game. So we're gonna start the work on that tomorrow. Yeah, for today I'm finished. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget that this code is open source, so you can get the source. You can get the source on GitHub or on itch.io. The links are all also in the description below. If you want notifications, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and follow me on Twitch too. I'm streaming every day on mostly evenings. Yeah, and see you next time. Thanks for watching.